Hello, Internet, and welcome to Coy Cubed. I'm very excited to be coming at you twice a week now, and I'm not going to lie to you, I literally just went 8 minutes ranting about my excitement for Aldis Hodge as the incredible character known as Hawkman, and then realized I forgot to press the go live button because this is brand new technology for me. I've been using Streamlabs for some time. StreamYard is new to me, and there's one extra button in StreamYard, and having not pressed it, I did not go live. So here we are, now live for this episode of Coy Cubed. I had originally said that I'm very excited that we're doing this twice a week because Tuesday's show was stacked with lots and lots of news, and now Friday's show right now, we could not have possibly covered all of this. So I'm really glad we have implemented a twice-a-week show. I'm really excited to talk to you about all of the news today. It is a big, now I know it works. It is a big week of news. Aldis Hodge is Hawkman. Nick Fury is getting a Disney Plus show, which is just insane to think about the scope of what that can be, and we'll get to that. The SnyderCut is officially getting reshoots to the tune of $70 million, which is just a staggering amount of money for reshoots. We'll talk about that. We've also got the information that Disney is shuffling a ton of its release dates, and when the mega powerhouse that is Disney, the effective empire of the studio system, moves stuff around, that affects everything. The exhibitor level is going to be forever shaken by this giant tectonic move. So we've got a lot of stuff to dive into today, and I really think we're going to be in for an interesting time over the next 6 to 12 months with the Disney announcement, as well as some of these streaming announcements. So I'm very, very excited to dive into that. So let's do that diving in now, shall we? Let's start with the news that Aldis Hodge is officially Hawkman. Now, this morning there was some rumblings, there was some rumors and confirmations that were like half certain. You can read a bunch of articles that are like, maybe. It is locked, it is confirmed, it has been said on The Rock's Instagram in a very funny way. The Rock shared a conversation he had with Aldis to let him know that he did, in fact, get the part of Hawkman. Now, this is really exciting for me because this shows, one, they can spin off any of these characters from Black Adam into their own movie, and that is a huge, huge testament to the strength of the DC universe and where it could go. But when you cast someone like Aldis Hodge, that shows a strong confidence in the script, that shows a strong confidence in what they're building as far as the movie's going, and that shows a strong confidence in the future. Now, I do think the JSA is going to get its own thing. I do think that Hawkman should and hopefully will get his own movie, and you don't cast someone like this for a 15-minute part. You don't just have Hawkman in this for a blip, you get his Aldis Hodge. Now, if you guys saw Invisible Man this year, it's one of the few movies that got a theatrical release and then had life on VOD. For me, he stole that movie. Every scene he was in, he was captivating, he was interesting, instantly likable. You wanted to root for this guy right away. Also, in Straight Outta Compton a few years earlier, he played MC Ren, so to me, MC Ren is now officially a superhero, which makes me very excited. But even in things like City on a Hill, which is a very slow burn drama that didn't get enough love about my own Boston, where he keeps up with Kevin Bacon and Jonathan Tucker, and like he's a powerhouse actor. But for me, the reason I think he's going to be such a good Hawkman is his regality, his poise, his power just in his presence. That's extremely important for the character of Hawkman because there's so much backstory, there's so much history of Hawkman that has to be told just with a look. There's got to be so much backstory told when you're telling a character's origin in another character's movie. Now, Black Adam's in a tricky spot because it's not only reflecting the Shazam corner of the DC universe, but it's also building its own universe with the anti-hero that is Black Adam. This is effectively a sequel to Shazam, but it's not. It's effectively a launchpad for JSA, but it's not. It's effectively a giant rock summer tentpole movie, but it's an entire corner of the DC universe. This thing is so many moving parts, and I'm really glad they're investing in actors like they are because they're going to have to do so much with so little, and this guy can. Now, The Rock is going to make a bombastic, huge movie. He puts his heart and soul into every one of the movies he invests in, and he's been building this thing for a decade. 10 years Black Adam has been in production with The Rock and $7 production working on it. So now that we're getting the cast, now that we know we've got Dr. Fate, now that we know we've got the cast assembling for Hawkman, this to me says this is the direction that DC is going to do going forward. They've done a really good job kind of rebuilding and restructuring these last few years. Marvel's Phase 2 is what I like in this too. After Phase 1, they saw it worked and they rebuilt accordingly. I think it's a great move to have all of these little universes that don't necessarily connect and using story elements that are canon like Flashpoint to allow that to connect or not. The Joker made $1 billion because it didn't need to connect the DCEU, but it was still a Joker movie. Shazam had a different voice for Batman and that toy. It doesn't need to connect necessarily. And then the Henry Cavill-esque cameo doesn't have to connect, but it can. And Aquaman we saw make $1 billion, and that didn't have any cameos in it. So you can come back to the Justice League and then leave it alone. I think that's a really strong move to take. And I think that the strength of Wonder Woman was that it lived on its own. I think the strength of Aquaman is that we met that character and that it lived on its own. And all these different tonalities are a great strength of DC. They're so good at visuals. They're so good at these graphic novel moments. And I think that's really going to show with something like Black Adam. So I'm really excited for this casting call. Call is implying it's not happening. Casting decision. And I think people should check out What Men Want for some comedy. I think they should check out Invisible Man for his thriller side. I think they should check out Sitting on a Hill if you want to see some great dialogue and some scene chewing where there's not a lot going on except for intensity. He's going to be Hawkman, and it's going to be fantastic. So Aldis Hodge, officially Hawkman. One of the more exciting, I didn't see that coming casting announcements in some time. He's a fantastic actor, and he should be a household name, so I'm really, really in for this decision. So let me know in the live chat what you guys think. Once again, I'm just learning this technology. I'm usually a Streamlab guy, so StreamYard is new to me, but I do know that I can put the conversation in here, like, what up, Sahil? Been a fan of Aldis Hodge since Leverage, so I'm pumped to see what he does with Hawkman. Agree. Totally agree. Aldis Hodge from Friday Night Lights and his recurring role in Turn. He's so good on TV. He's so good in film. I want this guy to be everywhere, and now with the superhero role he's going to be, so hell yeah. And what up in general to the Koi Pond? I see all the love happening in the chat. That makes me real, real happy. We were 8 minutes late today because I'm learning new buttons. This is an all-new setup. Let me know what you guys think of the new picture and the new sound. This is the second time I'm using this camera and the first time I'm using this audio, so let me know if it's an improvement over last week or not. And as ever, I'm used to being in a studio, and I'm not currently because of quarantine. So this is learning how to use this tech, and here we go. So we got Hawkman, very excited about it. Let's move on to the next bit of news. And if you haven't seen The Rock's post about the phone call between him announcing Hawkman, it is charming and The Rock and fantastic. So check that out. Over to the world of Disney. Disney Plus has greenlit, and I can't believe it, I'm going to take a dramatic sip, a Nick Fury show. I never thought we'd see Samuel Jackson on TV. I was impressed we got Nick Fury in 11 out of the 23 Marvel films, much less a show. Samuel Jackson's never done a show in like a leading ongoing part. That's insane. So, one, that budget's got to be bananas. Two, there's so much cool opportunity for storylines with Nick Fury because he bounces in and out of the MCU in such an interesting way. He could be recruiting Avengers. He could be on his own like spy missions. He could have Howling Commandos. There's so many cool opportunities to see what they can do with Nick Fury. So I'm very, very intrigued about what that whole flavor will be, because the Nick Fury comics usually are Bond meets, but like 70s Bond meets cosmic tech. There's always like an otherworldly, not always, there's often an otherworldly element. So you can almost have a Bond meets Eternals kind of flavor with this show, budget depending. And the fact that he signed on means it's got to be something special. Will this be a flashback? Will it be young Nick Fury? Will it be Nick Fury when he's hiding out after Civil War? What continuity spot will this take? He was gone for years until Endgame and that era. Will this tie into Sword? Theoretically, we're getting a Sword like medley coming to the MCU. So this is a lot of different ingredients and a very exciting potential just with the casting alone and just the announcement that we are in fact getting a Nick Fury show. So the Disney Plus streaming market, I feel like they're allocating a lot of what might have become Phase 5. I think they're restructuring and leaning into the TV a little bit more because the way times are going. A lot of people are extremely mad at them for the Black Widow delay. We're going to talk about that next. I think it's completely the right move, but I'm curious how much of these decisions are like, well, we got this amazing platform. We need to put stuff on it. I don't think Nick Fury was ever a movie. That's not what I'm saying. I think that this show might have been a maybe and is now a more confirmed yes. So I'm curious what it looks like. I'm curious the tone. I'm curious how they got Nick Fury himself, the great Samuel Jackson, to do TV. And overall, I'm very, very excited for the beginning of Sword. As Harry Waterhouse agrees, betting it's about Sword. I think that's a really cool opportunity to bring all of that in. We'll see what happens. But people are saying the only thing is a slight tinny sound. I do live with hardwood floors. I'm going to try to get a carpet to lay near here, and maybe that'll absorb some stuff. But thank you for the note. I am trying to figure it all out. Very much appreciated. Yeah, and I heard Richard E. Grant, the live chat is talking about, is in fact joining Loki. Well, I guess not in fact, but rumored to be joining Loki. I think he tweeted it out, but I didn't see the actual tweet because I jumped on here. But Richard E. Grant being in Loki is very exciting news. That man is a genius. He is another actor that has so much gravitas, so much poise. Someone like that can play someone that is, a god, someone that's been around eternally, someone that just has that presence. And I think it's a really good opportunity for us to see where we go with the Loki universe, because we know it's time hopping. We've heard it's Forrest Gump-esque in its globetrotting. So we're going to see how that goes, and I'm really excited overall. Time will tell what the Disney Plus universe becomes, but it is all shaping up very, very well between this casting of Loki and getting a Nick Fury show, which I do think will be part of Phase 5. I don't think we'll be seeing Nick Fury stuff for the next 2 years, but maybe I could be wrong. They could be planting seeds much, much sooner. So time will tell there. But speaking of the Disney delay, which I alluded to many people being very aggressive, and people tagging me in the delay is interesting because, one, I have no control. But two, I think it's the absolute right move. I think they should delay everything until it's safe. Tenet did not make as much money as it could have later. There are lots of movies to play at home. There are more streaming service hours. You could not possibly watch everything that you can stream right now in a day. There's so many other things besides the movie theater being unsafe. I think they should wait. Black Widow's not going to make its money if it gets this half release. New York's still closed. Here is still closed. LA doesn't have movie theaters. So I think delaying these movies was absolutely the right call. They moved pretty much everything on their slate, which is interesting because it needs to be done, and Marvel needs to set the precedent. I think this is the right decision. I have a lot of love for the movie theater, but I know that they've gotten some creative, at least AMC and another, I think AMC and Cinemark have figured out their budgets to limp along. I know Regal is hurting a little bit more, but if it's not safe, it's not safe. Human lives versus the dollar. I'm always going to lean towards human lives, whether or not the government does. That said, we have a lot of shuffle, and as you remember, Fox is also part of Disney, so when Disney moves their release date, that also includes The Kingsman, which was originally supposed to come out this month or within the next couple weeks. Right now, The Kingsman would have been out if not for a pandemic. So The Empty Man has moved up a little. It's coming out on October 23rd. Soul, surprisingly, has held its release date, which does worry me that they're just going to dump it on Disney+. They might do a limited theatrical, kind of like what they've done with Tenet, and then it's not limited, but only 70% of the theaters are open, and they can't go to capacity, so it's limited. So I'm afraid Soul's going to go out to theaters, but then also get a Disney Plus release, which I do not want to see that for the first time at Disney Plus. But I'm in the minority with hold on to movies. We'll see. Free Guy coming December 11th. Ryan Reynolds' new flick that looks hilarious to me. Death on the Nile moves to December 18th, the sequel to that awesome Agatha Christie movie. I forget the name suddenly. Murder on the Orient Express. Kenneth Branagh's glorious mustache playing Poirot. I love that first one, so I'm very excited for the second one, especially with that cast. That is December 18th. And now into 2021. That means there's only 4 movies from Disney for the rest of this year. And Disney, when they move stuff, a lot of other studios do as well. So the Disney slate is 4 movies the rest of the year. This year, 2021, just showing how much content they've got is insane. 2021, everybody's talking about Genie. It's January 22nd. The Kingsman is February 12th. That actually moved up 2 weeks. That was originally the 28th, moved up to the 12th. Well, I guess originally it would have been now, but it had been moved to the 28th, now to the 12th. Raya and the Last Dragon, which we saw footage of last D23, is still slated for March 12th. Bob's Burgers, April 9th. Ron's Gone Wrong, April 23rd. Black Widow moves to May 7th of 2021 off of its November release date over to May 7th, which is the original summer flavor that I believe I think was a late April, late spring release. Cruella, May 28th. Luca, June 18th. Shang-Chi moves from May to July 9th. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is July 9th. Jungle Cruise on July 30th. Deep Water, August 13th. Beatles Get Back, August 27th. The Last Duel, that Ben Affleck joint, is coming out October 15th for the beginning of award season. Eternals moves again to November. It was originally November of this year, moved to summer of next year. It is now holding on in November, much like Black Widow moved a bunch of times, November 5th. And then West Side Story moved a whole year from December of this year to December of next year. So lots and lots of hustle with all of Disney stuff. And we will see what's going on next year with the chaos of movie theaters and everyone being safe and staying home. Out of those, I want to know in the live chat which one you are, one or two, you guys are most excited for, because there's a lot of insane Disney stuff coming at us very, very quick, but we will see. All right, next up in the news, we've got probably the craziest bit of news this week. Next to Hawkman is the SnyderCut is getting not just reshoots, but it's getting like 2 or 3 indie films a budget for reshoots. $70 million is a whole-ass mid-budget movie. It's a few small-budget movies. It's like 50 Blumhouse movies. $70 million in reshoots for the Snyder Cut. Now, this is exciting because they're getting Henry Cavill back, they're getting Batfleck back, we're getting, more Ray Fisher, we're getting the gang back together that need the additional photography. And I'm just excited to get more Henry Cavill because I really hope the rumors keep being true. It's always a rumor, like it hasn't been confirmed with the 6 movies and the cameo and maybe Man of Steel 2. We haven't gotten confirmation about Henry Cavill back as Superman, but we do know he's going to be in the reshoots for the Snyder Cut. So I'm hoping when they sign those papers, other lawyer papers were signed. The Snyder Cut is getting $70 million in reshoots, and the team coming back together is really exciting. So I think that cast is top notch. I think a 4-hour movie, there's no way they had all of that in the can. I was really surprised when they said that was already done. But holy crap, we will see how this goes. I'm very, very intrigued by another movie being shot effectively. I don't know how many weeks of filming it's going to be. I know it's happening soon. I love that Ben Affleck just got in great shape. Like he had some struggles with alcoholism, found love, got shredded, is ready to be a Batman at a moment's notice. That also means there's going to be 2 Batmen filming as Batman simultaneously while Robert Pattinson is filming. Ben Affleck will be filming, and that's just so crazy to me. That feels like a comic book. That's like Detective Comics coming out and Batman coming out of the shelves. We're going to get both the Bat books simultaneously. Everyone that loves Batfleck, yes. Everyone that loves Pattinson, yes. I'm excited because I like comic book movies, so we're getting all that jazz. So that starts filming soon. $70 million. HBO Max just hedging a lot of bets, and I'm hoping it's good. We got in the super chat, the great Matt the Beard Man. Can't stay long, just wanted to pop by and show some love. Thank you as ever, Matt. I am very, very excited. Today is Friday, and I've got about 6 or 7 hours worth of work left. So maybe by midnight, I'll get to have a delicious Dragon's Milk, and if not midnight, then 100% tomorrow. I already know where I'm going. I already called ahead. They've got Dragon's Milk. I'm getting me some Dragon's Milk. I'm enjoying it this weekend, and I'm going to probably film either something separate or film something to put into Comic Books and Craft Beer. My first sip of Dragon's Milk. I am so excited. And I'll be wearing my shades and my gear because I've got a whole gifting suite of Dragon's Milk, which is just incredible. So thank you, Matt the Beard Man, for the Streamlab. Very much appreciated. I'm very curious about that beer because it's gotten hella hype, and that makes me very, very excited. You're right. I missed a Batman. Boom. 3 Batman. I had forgotten about the Keaton Batman also returning in The Flash. So if there's ever a week where they're filming on the Snyder Cut, the Flash movie, and they're wrapping on the Batman, because it's going to be probably another 6 months. If there's ever a week where all those things are filming, there will be 3 Batman filming. That is true and crazy. You are wise, young, sad Scoop. I don't know how to say your last name or your first name, but you are correct, and I appreciate you because I had forgotten about Mr. Michael Keaton as Batman. Let's see. Venko says, and Armis is the cure to depression, haha, or I guess healthy relationships are. Always nice to see someone bounce back like that. Dude, I totally agree. I think healthy relationships, no matter what kind of relationship they are so healing and cathartic, and I think that's a lot of the reason where, this year is the perfect storm of everything going wrong and then us being isolated. Even if you're an introvert, human contact, even if it's sitting quietly at a library, white noise, even just any remedial contact is so vital. I'm an extrovert, so I need people. I need to be in the dust at Burning Man once a year at least. I need folks. So I totally agree. That is part of it, and I'm really happy for him too, man. My favorite part of the DC fandom, and that's saying a lot because I love that event, was seeing happy Affleck, seeing Affleck genuinely smiling and just in it made me so very happy. So I completely agree, and Irma seems rad. So I'm really happy for Batfleck in general, and I really miss people. You guys are my people now. Internet, through the lens, through the webcam lens, we got each other. One day we'll have people. So very excited. That's me slipping. That's me losing my mind right there. That was a peek into the insanity. All right. Also in the news today, we are getting a Peacemaker show, which is also very, very unexpected. I am losing my mind with excitement because this means that we don't know if we're getting more of him in the movie, but it does mean we're getting more John Cena. I think this means he dies in the first act, and he was so test audiences, studio audiences, all those people were we got to have more of this guy. So I think Peacemaker bites it, but we get to have our cake and eat it too by being surprised by him biting it in the movie and then we get a show with him. I don't think the HBO Max show is going to be a sequel. I think it's going to be a prequel or alongside what leads to, but I do think he bites it in the movie still. I stand by that. But an HBO Max prequel or ongoing with this character is such cool news because he's an insanely tempestuous character, and he's also a character that should get a lot of screen time, and it's a really cool experience to have someone like John Cena, who's such an entertainer, who's so captivating, playing a character like this who I never thought we'd see on screen. Now we're getting a show. So we're starting to get shared universe stuff between TV and film. We're starting to get a lot of different variety of things, like the Batman going both TV and film with a Gotham show, with the MCU going this direction. I think this is the beginning of what's going to be the standard in film and television. I think there's going to be less of a divide between film and television. This is a great opportunity to tell comic book stories because they're long form. I think long form is the future. I think theatrical is still going to be important for big events. I'm still a theatrical preferrer. I would very much like to see movies in theaters, and I'd like to see events in theaters. But if that means that every 5 or 6 months we get a movie, but then ongoing every 3 or 4 months we get a show, that's the best of all worlds. That's so exciting because the budgets are adjusting to where that's reasonable. Like the Red camera is more approachable. Like that's just an example. Like the Red was prohibitively expensive when David Fincher was using it. It was like this insane digital camera that looked like film, but now like colleges have it and students can afford it, and it's made the art of filmmaking less prohibitive. So I think that likewise, you won't have to worry about like Smallville budgets where the show was good, but then you see a superhero with their powers and you're like, ugh. Or even Jessica Jones, even recently like Jessica Jones, whenever she'd use her powers, they just cut away. I think we're leaving that world a little bit behind because the budgets are being reallocated better and we can actually afford superhero TV shows. So very excited. This is huge news. Peacemaker coming to HBO Max again means HBO is becoming much, much more superhero friendly. DC is looking at the properties they have. I've been worried about DC Comics for a little bit, but I think that this might help if we've got more and more stuff on HBO Max and in theaters to really make it a possibility. So I'm very excited, and I think Peacemaker is going to be a lot of fun as a TV show. So again, I don't know anything about what the show is going to be. I know the character is absolutely insane, and I know we're in good hands because James Gunn is going to be at least marginally involved, and because John Cena is a genius of comedy, so we're in good hands there. So yes, give me more crazy, obscure DC characters in your properties. Speaking of long form and crazy characters, The Boys is getting a spinoff. Any other week, this would have been the headline, but so much happened in the last 3 days, even twice a week doing Coy Cubed. The Boys didn't make the opening YouTube scroll because holy crap, what a week. The Boys is getting a spinoff. Season 2 is about halfway through, but Season 2 is doing so well. It went up 89% in viewership between Season 1 and Season 2 because it's quality. It's not just a fun show, it's a good show. So even when it's over, people want to catch up, people want to understand. I personally like that it's not a binge show. I'm enjoying having my weekly Friday thing to look forward to. And speaking of, I'm a week behind, so I've got 2 to look forward to. I think it's a fantastic bit of commentary. It's a full-on superhero show, but it's more about the commentary in the world that superhero lens allows. So I think The Boys is the perfect thing for the modern time. It's commentary on the modern time while also being about modern politics, modern pop culture, everything that I'm invested in. So The Boys is getting a spinoff that is set at America's only college exclusively for young adult superheroes, or SUPs. It's run by Vought International. It is described as an irreverent R-rated series that explores the lives of hormonal, competitive SUPs as they put their physical, sexual, and moral boundaries to the test, competing for the best contracts in the best cities. Part college show, part Hunger Games with all heart, satire, and the raunch of The Boys. Dude, Hunger Games with The Boys? Yes, please. This to me sounds like Van Wilder with The Boys? Yes, please. Especially if they do something like Herogasm, if they do something that's like all of those soups. There's so much fun and flavor with this world. And this is also, that's a commentary on how many superhero shows there are themselves. That's a commentary on how many movies there are. This is the right time for the show, and I'm so excited for it. So with the quality of Season 2, I know it's going to be in the right hands. Eric Kripke is clearly in love with the show. I can say this now. There's going to be a set visit coming out from your boy. I went and saw the set, and I got to see some of the later episode being filmed. And I can't talk about any of that, but there will be an article coming out from me, and I'll talk about it after what I experienced on the set. And that set loves The Boys. They get it. So I'm really excited for that to come out so I can finally talk about it. But it is going to be really, really special. And there's such an expansive universe around The Boys. this is really exciting. I got a lot of love for Ennis, a lot of love for Derek Robertson. I think this is a really, really cool thing for people into comic books that are not as traditional as your Spider-Man, your Batman, your Superman. And it's not that prohibitively long. The Boys only ran for like 6 years. You can read all of The Boys pretty easily. It was on Dynamite and Wildstorm Comics because I collected it back in 2006. So it's going to be a little trickier to find, but it's worth it. And it's actually more depraved than the show. They've done a great job adapting the show to make it a little bit more digestible. So I'm really curious what the spinoff show does, if it pushes the envelope even more, if it goes more depraved. Either way, I'm very, very excited for, as Zeno Hour calls it, a horny, sex-crazed X-Men. Yes, yes, yes. Is going crazy. So I'm very in. I'm very excited. All right, speaking of Van Wilder, the incredible... Oh, no, I got the wrong Ryan. That was almost a good tangent. No, wait. We can still do this. Speaking of Van Wilder, director of Deadpool 2, David Leitch, is directing a movie with the other Ryan, Baby Goose. Ryan Gosling is playing a stuntman in a Drew Pearce scripted new feature, which just had a giant bidding war over at Universal. I am so excited for this. I love Ryan Gosling. I'm a huge Drew Pearce fan. I like David Leitch. This is a great set of creators to work together. Ryan Gosling doesn't work as much as he had before. There was a few years where we had like 3 Ryan Gosling movies a year, and now it seems like he's really picky with what he takes on. So I'm really excited about this choice because Drew Pearce is one of the best writers working. This is going to be fantastic. A stunt movie with Ryan Gosling, yes, please. Also, give stunt people the Oscar they deserve. As soon as a mask goes on, as soon as any action happens, it's a new person. How they aren't recognized. Casting directors and stunt people need Oscars yesterday. As awards go, those are hugely important. So I'm excited about a stunt guy getting his time in the sun, as played by Ryan Gosling. Also on the indie movie circuit, Cherry, the Tom Holland starring Russo brother directed indie drug vehicle, has been picked up by Apple. Now, this is a huge acquisition for Apple because that is a $30 million pluck, but it's also the Russo brothers in their first non-MCU film in years, and it's Tom Holland, who's everywhere and is fantastic. I think this is a great move by Apple. They're taken way more seriously. I think this is a great pick for a movie that could be streamed because it's probably going to be like your mid-range, gritty experience. So I think this is a great opportunity for everyone involved. I personally love Apple TV. This is making me like, well, that is something I do want to see. So it's a smart move when you got someone not on your platform wanting to be. Over to the Streamlab. Michael McCarcel. I'm at work, so I have to catch the replay. Just wanted to send my support. Thank you so much, man. Michael, I'm so jealous. I'm not going to reveal what your job is here, but I'm very jealous of it, and I think it's really rad, so I appreciate you. David Leitch's name is pronounced Leitch, not Leitch. The I threw me off. David Leitch is directing a movie with Ryan Gosling, directed and written by Drew Pearce. Thank you. I did not know that whatsoever. I love this little button. I've got the power right here to give you credit for the pronunciation of Leitch. All right. We're going to wrap this up because we're going a bit long today, but there was so much news. We've also got news that The Guilty has been picked up by Netflix for a $30 million deal, another big old $30 million deal. Now, this is another batch of my favorite creators. So first we had Gosling, Drew Pearce, and David Leitch. Now we've got Gyllenhaal, as directed by Antoine Fuqua, with a script by Nick Pizzolatto. Now, Season 2, I'm going to consider canon. Nick Pizzolatto wrote True Detective Season 1, which is one of the best, densest, weird, diatribe-heavy scripts I've ever read or watched. I love the scripts for True Detective Season 1, so you give me that with Gyllenhaal doing it, with Fuqua directing. The underappreciated Southpaw, which I love that movie. That's one of my go-to training movies. When I'm not like a workout, I put Southpaw track on, I watch a couple of scenes. Southpaw is awesome, and Gyllenhaal is incredible. That was actually a movie we talked about probably most in that interview I did for Comic Book Shopping. Like, Jake and I talked about Southpaw because I love fighting, and I love, not actually doing it, I said it, but I love the world of fighting, and I thought he did an incredible job. So teaming up again is very exciting. $30 million deal, heading over to Netflix, The Guilty, and it's based on a foreign film that swept Sundance 2016, 17, thereabouts. So a recent film, they're remaking it, and that team behind it means it's in great hands. Then over to a movie I never thought we'd see, American History Y. Tony Kaye, who directed American History X, is doing a, I'm guessing, spiritual sequel. I don't imagine this is a sequel in any direct sense, but a spiritual sequel to American History X, which he disavowed years ago. The Ed Norton film, he didn't even want his name on it, but I think he wants to do something that he will be proud of with that moniker, and he's going to be doing it with Djimon Hounsou. Apparently it takes place in Africa. That's all we really know about it. But Tony Kaye coming back, he hasn't directed any narrative, I don't think, since. He did a documentary a few years ago. But Tony Kaye is a brilliant director from the one film I've seen, admittedly. But American History Y with Djimon Hounsou, and apparently this has been gestating for quite some time, so I'm very excited to check that one out. Time will tell. But a lot of great indie stuff. We got Cherry, we got American History Y, we got The Guilty. That's a lot of greatness. And then the stunt movie with Ryan Gosling. So excited. All right, before we wrap this up, I've got some comic book recommendations, and I got some love for the great Jeff Lee. Now, you guys, this shirt right here is from Jeff Lee because he knows of my love of A Knight's Tale. And look at this. I didn't know there were A Knight's Tale shirts, and this is Sir Ulrich von Liechtenstein's crest. Sir Ulrich von Liechtenstein's crest. Right here, I got a shirt thanks to Jeff Lee, so I want to give Jeff Lee some love. He also sent me a director's cut, or a longer cut, I don't know if it's technically a director's cut, the extended cut of A Knight's Tale, which I didn't know existed until Jeff sent it to me. So thank you, Jeff. He mentioned it during he's one of my patrons that's, I Skype every month, so we talk every month, and he mentioned it, and I was like, I have no idea that's a thing, and then he mailed me, I assume his copy, for my birthday, because he's an absolute angel person. So wanted to show Jeff Lee some love, because this was so very, very rad, and very, very much appreciate it. So thanks, man. And the shirt's bitching. I appreciate you very, very much. All right, over to the last bit of things. Oh, and this week, by the way, Wednesday, we're going to be doing a watch-along of Logan. So in 4 days, 5 days, what's time? On Wednesday, we're doing a watch-along of Logan, as sponsored by fellow patron Mr. Michael McCarcel, who was in the chat earlier. Michael McCarcel is teaming up with me to do a Logan watch-along on Wednesday. I'm very excited. Also sponsored by the brand new patron saint of watch-alongs, Mr. Ash Singh. Very much appreciated Ash, and very much appreciated Michael McCarcel. I'm very excited to get into a watch-along on Wednesday. So if you guys don't have it, I think it's currently $5 to own on iTunes. And if not, you should own it because it's Logan. It's incredible. So we're going to be watching Logan. I'm going to do a full audio commentary on it. I'm very excited. Speaking of Logan, i.e. comic books, my favorite books for this week. So Tuesday, I'm going to be, not predicting, Tuesday I'm going to say what books I'm excited to read. And then on Fridays, I'll say what my favorite books were. If you want to know what I thought of every comic I read that week, that's another Patreon tier where I literally rate every single comic I read. So A, B, C, D, F, like school, I rate everything I read, and I also rate every movie I watch because I have weird OCD. So if you want to find out what I thought of every comic book, check out my Patreon, and I think it's one of the lower tiers, but it's over there. And then if you want to know what I think are the ones you must pick up, that will always be free because I always want you to pick up comics. I'm always going to tell you guys my top 9 or 10. I don't want that behind a paywall. I want you picking up books. So my favorites of the week. Tuesday, I told you these ones I think are going to be rad. It's like 30 books, and then I give you my finalists on Friday. That's going to be the new format. So my favorite books that I read from this Wednesday's new comic book day were Action Comics number 1025 about the Super Family, some John Romita Jr. art as written by Brian Michael Bendis. Daredevil number 22, man, oh man, does Chip Zdarsky write the hell, pun intended, out of Daredevil. I love this run of Daredevil. I love Chip Zdarsky's writing. He is a genius. Doctor Doom number 7, after a very long hiatus, the Doctor Doom book is back. It is solid. It is, you see the gravitas of why Victor Von Doom is so important. It is such a good book. I recommend it. Immortal She-Hulk number 1. We finally get the immortal moniker on She-Hulk. We get a bit of a backstory with She-Hulk. We get to see her evolve out of Empire. I love the character of She-Hulk. This is wonderfully timed with Tatiana Maslany's casting. If you didn't watch Tuesday's show, we talk all about Tatiana Maslany being cast as She-Hulk. Guys, in 1 week, we got Tatiana Maslany as She-Hulk and Aldis freaking Hodge as Hawkman in 1 week. It's insane. I miss doing heroes. I wish I had a space to yell this from rooftops, but you guys are here, so I get to yell it from this rooftop. It just happens to be my roof that I'm under. It's very hot. Also this week, Juggernaut number 1, a new mini-series from Fabian Nicenza, and oh, I love the artist. Oh, the artist slips my mind. Ron Garney and Fabian Nicenza doing a Juggernaut story, and it was very charming and lovely, and it's a 1 of 4. I recommend you pick up this mini. It's only 4 issues, so check it out. I was surprised. I was impressed. Maestro number 2, How Did the Hulk Become Maestro? This answers that post-apocalyptic dystopian question of what happened that made him, like, that character's been around forever and he never had an origin. So it's really cool to see the origins of Maestro, and that's another mini coming out of Marvel that is very solid. Shazam number 15 is kind of a one-off. It's kind of its own little story where you don't really need to know a lot about Shazam, and it's a really good, if you want to learn more about the character, Shazam number 15 was a great little isolated pick. Suicide Squad number 9 is an incredible Tom Taylor story. A lot of twists and turns. Don't have it spoiled for you. It is one of my favorite runs of Suicide Squad. Tom Taylor is killing it. Check this one out, especially pick up 8 and 9. Both of them are brilliant. And then finally, Venom number 28, a very weird future tale from Donny Cates, all about Venom, and it's an alternate future, it's an alternate reality, a lot's going on. This book also had tons of twists and turns. This different take on Venom is a lot of fun. Check it out. This is building to a giant winter event from Donny Cates about Null. So check all of those out. I recommend. And then I'm currently watching The West Wing Season 6. I'm about a third of the way into Season 6. Currently watching Kingdom. You guys might have heard of Banging. I used my birthday money from you guys, actually, and from my family to get a stationary bike. Because when I watch Kingdom, I'm so hyphy, I can't sit still. So I'm going to burn some calories while they're burning calories. So I'm going to have some MMA biking, and I'm so excited. So I got like a cheapish stationary bike to pedal along while I watch Kingdom, and I'm fucking hyped. So Kingdom I'm watching and loving. Community Season 4, and then I'm playing Marvel's Avengers and loving it. I haven't played all week, but that's currently what I'm consuming. I recommend on streaming over on Netflix, Enola Holmes. I haven't watched it yet, but it dropped on the 23rd, as did Waiting, the classic stand-up brilliance, not stand-up, but the classic brilliance of Ryan Reynolds and Justin Long in a comedy about serving. Real Steel dropped on the 24th. I love that movie so much. Hugh Jackman, Rock'em Sock'em Robots. It shouldn't be good, but it's brilliant. The Good Place Season 4 drops tomorrow, which means when I start The Good Place, I can watch all of it, because I've never seen any of it, so I'm going to watch it all at once. Teen Titans Go versus Teen Titans is on the 24th on Hulu. Judy drops tonight on Amazon. I missed it in theaters. I'm very excited to check out Judy. And then Just Mercy comes at HBO Max tomorrow, which I also missed in theaters, which I really want to see. So Just Mercy and Judy are the new ones coming out. And then there's a bunch of other backstock stuff, which is why we don't need to rush movies to theaters, because, frankly, there's plenty of content. Hey, my mom's here. Hello from Coy-Jandreau. Hi, Mom. I'm just wrapping up the show, Mom. I'm trying to keep these under an hour for now. Everyone in the Koi Pond, you've been rad. Let's see, I got a question from Yellow Flash. Have I ever read Dark Knight Returns 3, The Master Race? Just read it for the second time. I was wondering how I rank it compared to DKR and Dark Knight Strikes Back. I liked it, but I think they're kind of in order. Or actually, no, I'd say Dark Knight Strikes Back, Dark Knight Returns, and then Dark Knight Returns 3, I think. It's been a while, but I think that's how I'd rank it. I hope that helps. But yeah, it's good. It's just, it's not the classic. But I haven't read it in a while, if I'm thinking of the right one. I'm going to look it up and I'll get back to you next week. I'm going to make sure I have the right Dark Knight in mind when I'm telling you what I thought. All right, guys, I got the need more coffee hiccups, which is definitely not a thing medically, but it's happening to me. And I'm going to grab, excellent. I'm so glad that does satisfy your question. I think that's my order. I think it's 2-1-3, Mr. Yellow Flash. And I'm going to go grab that bike, build it, and then get to watching Kingdom after I finish my few hours of work. I got some work to do. All right, guys. Thank you, as ever, for being here. Thank you, Koi Pond. Thank you to everyone that threw something in the stream labs. We got the fantastic Michael McCarcel. Again, Wednesday, we're watching Logan, thanks to Michael McCarcel. Vanko, who thinks relationships are very important, and I totally agree. And Matt the Beard Man. Beard and Beard. He's got puns, and I respect him. Thank you for your stream labs. I very much appreciate it. We'll be back on Tuesday, mere days from now, with more news, and we'll be talking about what comics are coming out next week, the upcoming week, and we'll be talking about whatever broke between now and Tuesday afternoon. So I'll see you guys here Tuesday at 4, and then next Friday, probably also at 4. Thank you for being here, and thank you, as ever, to comic books for existing. Much love, y'all. Stay safe, stay sane. See you soon.